Hi everyone, it's Andrew from Hobbies Australia, and it's been forever since we've actually had time to sit down and put one of these videos together. So my apologies on that. Things have been a little bit crazy here. Lots and lots of things happening, new brands coming, new kits, new look. So let's get straight into it today and let's see some of the great products that are arriving at Hobbies Australia now and in the next couple of weeks. So just prior to Easter, we got our Trumpeter shipment in. That container included Trumpeter, Hobby Boss, I Love Kits, Master Tools. The standout in that shipment in regards to new models was this bad boy, the 1/32 scale F35. Now we've had Australian markings incorporated for this kit, so they are a representation of number 2 OCRU flying out of RAAF Williamtown. That kit is on its way to stores now. One of the other great kits that arrived recently from Takom is the AH-64E Apache attack helicopter. Now this is the version that the Australian Army, the Australian Defence Force will be receiving. And what we were able to do here was organise Australian markings again. And we've made it very, very clear in the instruction sheet that this is the proposed marking for this airframe when it arrives in Australian service. It's still a couple of years away, but what we've done is jump the gun and got that out. That's in stores now, and that has been very, very well received by both retailers and modelers. Something a little bit different from AMT, their Mandalorian Razor Crest. Now, AMT is a brand that probably flies a little bit under the radar, but if you've got the opportunity to actually see one of these kits in stores, this is jaw-dropping. What the guys at AMT have done with this in regards to their moulds, in regards to the presentation of the actual model, just absolutely great, and just another example of how so many of the model companies involved in the industry are really lifting their game, lifting their profile, and it's a great time to be a modeler. Without doubt, the standout so far this year in regards to model kits arriving has been this little bad boy, the 1/32 scale Kotare Mark I Spitfire. This model company has been formed by a group of ex-employees from Wingnut Wings in New Zealand, and this kit has arrived in our warehouse and has been distributed to stores now. It's really, in regards to quality, buildability, etc., etc. There's a lot of reviews out there already, so I'm not going to waste time rehashing it. But yeah, if you've got the chance, have a look at this kit. You'll be absolutely amazed with what they've been able to achieve out of the box. Coming later in the year from one of our core brands, Academy Models, is this great 1/48 scale A10 Warthog. What's in here in regards to the slide technology, how it's been done, the attention to detail on the instructions, etc., etc. This kit is just absolutely gorgeous. Keep your eye open for that. Be arriving within the next few months into stores, both online and bricks and mortar stores in Australia. One of the other great brands that has arrived recently here at Hobbies Australia is Gecko Models, and I want to expand on this brand a little bit more, and it's going to be the feature of this video today. But the Gecko Models range is in our warehouse, 1/35th World War II and current subjects, things like the KATY ambulance, limited edition with a rendition of the late Queen, as she was Princess Elizabeth back in the Second World War. Been very, very warmly received. They've done World War II British landing craft. Gecko Model is just a fantastic brand for the quality of kit, the pricing, the subject matter. They're really doing some impressive things. And we're going to talk more about the Gecko Model family in this video. So the Gecko Model family or group, however you want to refer to them, they basically encompass 3 brands. You've got Classy Hobby, which focuses on large scale, 1/16th, and they do some really nice early World War II German armour subjects. They do the classic Stuart tank in 1/16th, and they do accessories, things like fuel cans, figures, etc. Very, very nicely done. Gecko Model then comes in and focuses on 1/35th scale, and they do subjects from World War II up to current British American equipment deployed in Afghanistan until recently. Then we have the brand that I want to focus on today, and that is Vespid Models. Now, Vespid Models focuses purely on 1/72nd, and they look at armour subjects. What I was really impressed with were their Comet tanks. I'd seen a couple of reviews about them, and I thought this is a brand that we can do a lot with. So we embraced the brand and have built on that. So the first ones that came out were their Comet tanks. Got really good reviews. 1/72 scale, loads of detail, buildability was great, link and length tracks, metal gun barrels were really, really nice, and at what I thought was quite a sharp price for that scale. Now, as further kits came out from Vespid, we started to see some enhancements to what they were doing. So we had the injected plastic, that was great. We had metal gun barrels, that was awesome. We then started to see some resin accessories incorporated in the box, things like gun muzzles, some of the gun shrouds, etc., and the inclusion of photo etch. Now, some of this stuff in 1/72 scale, the photo etch clamps and cable loops and all that sort of stuff, incredibly fine, very, very detailed. The parts are supplied in plastic, and obviously with the photo etch, it's optional whether or not you want to use it, but just absolutely jaw-dropping stuff. One of the local guys who many of you would know, Scott Taylor from Scale Model Supply. Scott and I had a discussion. So Scott really embraced the brand. He thought it was fantastic, and he actually built this Tiger mouse, which has been doing the rounds at some of the shows over the last 18 months or so, and has actually scooped up quite a few awards. The buildability, fantastic, the attention to detail, everything that you could hope for and more, with a beautiful paint job, really, really pops. So the brand's developed and evolved. We've seen their Comet tanks. They've featured very heavily on their German subjects, Panthers, Tiger Mals, as I said, tank destroyers, etc. But what was always in the back of my mind when we got this brand was that the Comet could and should lead to a Centurion. And I'm very, very happy to say that there are 2 Centurions announced, and they should be with us in about 3 to 4 weeks, and we'll be distributing those to retailers, both bricks and mortar stores and online retailers, I'm hoping by early to mid-May. So the kits that I'm all excited about are the Australian Centurions, 1/72 scale, 4 marking options out of the box, and we have 2 kits. We have the standard, and that is code VS72007. Now in here, what we've got is, as you can see, we've got 4 marking options, we've got photo etch, beautifully little rendered tank turret. For the Australian Centurion, that searchlight mounted on the turret was such a prominent feature. We've got the lenses for that. We've got a beautiful tub base. You can see there our link and length tracks, very, very nicely done. Loads and loads and loads of detail. And as you can see there, and it just keeps coming and coming and coming. So the box is chock-a-block. Instructions, A5 format, paint colours, all called out, nothing too onerous there. I guess from my point of view, some of the photo etch with the big fat fingers and the big thick glasses, they could be a bit of a stretch, but everything's in this box to build an absolutely wonderful rendition of an Australian Centurion during the Vietnam War period, and it's just beautifully done. We've actually had, I made a phone call to Scott and asked for a favour, and Scott actually built one of these Centurions for me, and we had it on display at the recent toy fair in Melbourne. We'll have a couple of images of that shortly. But as you can see there, it's just beautifully done, beautifully done. So being an Australian Vietnam era vehicle, as you can see, the paint scheme is predominantly olive drab, and we've got all the various vehicle markings, but really, really nicely done. And then a bit of a catalogue there on the back of some of the other kits that are available in the brand. So the second Centurion we've got here, the code for this one is VS72007S. What makes this different from the first one we just quickly looked at? All the parts, the sprues, the instructions, markings, etc. are the same, but what I do have is a 3D printed gun mantlet, which just adds to the level of authenticity and detail that this model produces out of the box. So they are the 2 new Vespid kits that are on their way. As we can see here, here's the finished model, all built up on a nice little diorama base there. Ryan will get some close-up shots of this for you before the video's out, so you can see what's in there. Now, as I said, this kit will be available in stores and online early to mid-May. Waiting on final shipping information now, but we should have that within that time frame. Retailing for about $45. It's a great little kit. It's an Australian subject, loads of detail, loads of opportunity. I think this is going to be a very, very popular kit because primarily if I want to now do a diorama and if I want 3 or 4 tanks in situ in a situation like this, I can do it in 1/72nd scale. If I tried to do it in 1/35th with the AFV club model, for argument's sake, I'd need this whole table area, and that's not necessarily going to be feasible for people. 1/72nd scale is a more manageable scale, and look, the attention to detail on this kit is fantastic. As always, I would urge you, go into your local hobby store when this is available, ask about it, ask the guys at the counter, hey, could I please have a look at one of these? You're going to be blown away by the detail. You're not going to want just one, you're going to want a couple. It's a really, really nice kit. It's a subject that I think ticks a lot of boxes for local modelers. The price is right, the quality is fantastic, the subject matter is spot on. So yeah, Vespid Models. Keep a lookout for them in stores. As always, please hit that like button. If you've got any questions and any comments, please make them below so we can respond to those. In the meantime, great to be back. Good to see you all. And I'm Andrew from Hobbies Australia. Take care. And as always, let's build more kits.